Good morning guys, and welcome to another day in the life of Pi from Phnom Penh. As you will notice, we're in the back of a tuk-tuk because we are on our way to the killing fields. So we're going to spend the morning exploring the killing fields, check out some of the cultural history behind one of the worst atrocities in Cambodia's history, and as always I'll take you guys with me and show you around the killing fields. As we've just arrived at the killing fields, here is the entrance. We're just going to buy our tickets. It's a $6 entry fee, so just going to get the tickets and then start walking around. Guys, pay the entrance fee, $6, and you get your own little audio guide, which is this little thing here, and that's kind of guide us around. There's signs everywhere saying be quiet. I think it's quite a somber kind of place, so I'm going to have to whisper most of the time. But let's walk around and I'll tell you stuff as I find it out. Guys, on the audio guide, one of the survivors of the killing fields is the narrator. He was part of a family of 9, and after the Pol Pot regime fell, only 5 of his family returned, and he has no idea what happened to the rest of his family. And now at the killing fields, more than 20,000 people here were murdered, and throughout the whole of Cambodia it was over 3 million. Now that's 3 million people out of a population of 8 million, so that's nearly half of the population were murdered by their own people, and this was all because of Pol Pot's fanatical communist ideology. So we're going to find out a bit more about it. We're at stop number 2 now, which is the truck stop, where all of the trucks came in transporting the prisoners who were on their way to get executed. So it's pretty harrowing hearing about this, but I'll tell you more as we find out more. So guys, just walking through, you can kind of feel the atmosphere. It's really weird. Everyone's completely silent, listening intently to the audio guide. And the audio guide's incredibly interesting, just telling you more about Pol Pot and his ideology. He was a well-educated guy. He was educated in France in the 1940s, and he became obsessed with Chairman Mao's ideology from China. He recruited most of his soldiers from the countryside, the peasant class, and pretty much waged war on the kind of upper classes, and they were a lot of the people that were detained and considered prisoners of war. Most people, probably 90% of the people that were executed, according to the audio guide, had done absolutely nothing wrong. They were just well educated and from the wrong class system, mostly kind of the upper classes. So they were brought here with the promise that they were being taken to a new home. They were then kind of detained and either executed on the same day or detained in a pitch black building and executed some days later, the entire time being completely fearful of their life. It's a harrowing story, and really quite disgraceful that the Khmer Rouge got away with it for so long. This was between 1976 and 1979, and finally when they were kind of overthrown by their own defectors and the Vietnamese army coming in, all of the buildings that once stood here were torn down because obviously the Cambodian people who survived were so angry about the way they'd been treated and the things that had happened. So it's a really terrifying and horrifying story, and obviously I'll tell you guys more about it as I find out more and as I listen to more of the guide. Guys, just walking around the museum, just reading more about the history. It's amazing that up until 1997 nothing was actually done against the people that committed these atrocities. The Cambodian government and the UN eventually kind of stepped in, and as of 1997 they started putting people on trial for the crimes they had committed. Now, one of the senior leaders, Pol Pot, died under house arrest in '98, so obviously he never faced trial for his crimes. But one of the senior leaders, a guy nicknamed Duch, D-U-C-H, he was only formally detained in 2007, almost 30 years after committing the crimes that he was the one that controlled the S21 prison, which is one of the most notorious prisons in Cambodia, and something that we're going to go to in the next couple of days. And he accepted responsibility for the death of over 15,000 people. So directly behind me is one of the mass graves where they found over 450 bodies. This is one of the mass graves that they dug, and what you will see just beyond that are all of these little craters that we're just about to walk around, which were all also mass graves. And the audio guide was just saying that as you walk around you're likely to see more fragments of bone, and because they haven't all the bodies haven't been found and haven't all been excavated. What is particularly cool is that people have put loads of bands around the mass grave to commemorate the people that were killed here. But yeah, it's a horrifying story. These are some of the weapons that they used to kill people because bullets were so expensive. They would use any form of weapon, axes, bamboo, like even farming tools, rather than waste the money using bullets. So they'd just hack people apart with whatever weapons they had available. Directly behind me is a pretty disgusting story, to be honest. Soldiers would use the tree to smash babies' heads against and then throw in the grave that's directly behind it. The Khmer Rouge would quite often kill an entire family, so if the father was murdered, then they'd also murder the mother and the babies. And the grave directly behind me, behind the killing tree, is where over 100 women and children were found. And when they found this site, there was still blood and brain and bone fragment all over that tree, because babies have been beaten against the tree. It's really quite difficult to hear about, and it's outrageous that people could do this against their own people. But obviously I want to show you guys the whole story of what happened. So I mentioned earlier about the second in command, Duch. He was actually sentenced to life in prison in 2011 after admitting to his war crimes. So he is actually currently in prison. And some of the excerpts on the audio guide are kind of about his confession and him breaking down and kind of, I guess, regretting the things he'd done. So the final stop is the stupa, in which there are 17 different levels of skulls, and there's over 9,000 skulls on the first level. You can just see through the doors there all the different levels and the skulls, and you can go inside to kind of look around it, which is what I am about to do whilst carrying on listening to the audio guide. Guys, we just got back from the killing fields and it was a really emotional experience, to be completely honest. It was amazing to find out more about Pol Pot's regime and the horrifying things that happened under his rule to the Cambodian people. We've just got back to the hostel now. We're actually going to pack up all our stuff, check out this hostel and move to a different hostel for 2 days so that we can see some different parts of Phnom Penh. This is a beautiful hostel, really nice place to stay, 88, but there's not a lot around here. So we're going to move to the riverfront. And then there's a lot more going on. There's bars, there's clubs, there's restaurants, and there's a few more things to do. So we're going to pack up now, get on in a tuk-tuk, get to another hostel, and I'll see you guys there. Guys, we're now on the way to the Russian market. We just moved hostels and we're now staying at the one-stop hostel, which is right there. And we are on our way to the Russian market. Guys, here we are outside the Russian market. As you will see behind me, this is what is called the Russian market. The reason it's called the Russian market is that the Russians used to come here to buy all their knockoffs. So we're going to have a walk around. Go and check out what this Russian market's all about. Hollister, Levi's. Guys, so you can literally buy anything in this market. They've got knockoff goods left, right and centre. H&M, Primark, your low-end fashion all the way through to your Gucci, your Calvin, your Ralph Lauren. They've got everything. It's not as cheap as Central Market and it's unbelievably hot. I need to curb my swearing, so I stopped myself from swearing there. It's unbelievably hot in here. It is more expensive and not as good as Central Market, so I'd advise going to Central Market over this place, but they have got everything. As I've just shown you, they've got a selection of pretty much anything you could ever want to buy. So I'm pretty much done with this place, but once the girls have finished shopping, we'll get out of here and see what else happens. Guys, so after the Russian market we came back, we started drinking, it got a little bit out of hand. We met a couple of Americans, started drinking quite heavily. My tuk-tuk driver over there now has my mobile phone. He's having a conversation with someone, I'm not really sure who, and he's trying to direct us to the next place to go for a drink. Fab's driving our tuk-tuk, not that you can see it because it's so dark out, and I have no idea where we're going, and I have no idea who my tuk-tuk driver is talking to, but he's having a good conversation and he seems like a nice guy, so hopefully he's not going to steal my phone. Don't do what I do, guys, because this is not how you travel. Yeah. Guys, so that is it for today. After getting my phone back from the tuk-tuk driver, we went to a reggae bar, danced there until about 3:30 in the morning, which it is now. We're now back at the hostel, gonna call it a night. To be honest, after the emotional day that we had at the killing fields, I think it was only right that we went out drinking, and it's in no way disrespectful to kind of what we experienced today, because you know, it was a really harrowing experience, and it was quite an emotional thing to go through. So once we'd kind of been through that and then went to the Russian market, you know, we all kind of felt like having a drink, and it escalated and went from there. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video today. I know it's been probably been a pretty difficult video to watch, and yeah, it certainly was a pretty difficult video to film, and I hope that I've done it in a respectful way and shown you guys kind of some of the history and given you some more information on what happened, because it is a horrific thing that has happened. I'm now babbling because it's almost 4 in the morning and I've been drinking a lot. But if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Keep following the adventure. I'll keep filming. And until tomorrow, guys, peace out.